And we're on.
And we're on. Okay, Jimmy Doane Show. We're just about on time, too. Cool.
And we got new background, as you can see, behind me. Learning how to work the lights here.
Yeah, finally. This is good. It's a work in progress. So anyway, Jimmy Doane Show here. It is Monday the 3rd of October.
Yeah.
2016. We've got just a little over a month before the big November 8th now, which is going to be a hoot. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Anyway, I don't have...
Riot Day.
Yeah, Riot Day. I don't have any information worth reporting on the election, although any new revelations that we haven't already talked about. And so let me... I will talk about one thing. There was an article in our local paper here. I think it was Sunday. Yeah, yesterday. And it's an editorial piece by an economist a retired economist over at University of Florida. And the title is "The Stakes Are Too High to Waste Your Vote."
To waste your vote.
Right. And what he says here is that the movie... let's see.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Is waste going to be casting it for the Republicans?
He talks again about that stuff. Yeah, at the end here, when we get down to the last paragraph, which is a little ways away. The movie Into the Wild tells the story of Christopher McCandless, who graduated from Emory with grades to enter Harvard Law School. Instead, disillusioned with the capitalist system, which obviously he had not learned about, he gave his savings to Oxfam, and I don't know who they are. They're probably some election thing, I don't know, and became Alexander Supertramp, and wound up in 1992 isolated in the Alaskan wilderness, starving in an abandoned bus. So,
sounds appropriate.
Yeah. So here's the guy who had the high ideals and everything. He hid out for 2 years, I guess, wandering all over the place to try and find himself. And at the end, he was homeless. Guy, just no job, no nothing.
Weird.
Yeah, weird. So anyway.
But he was a good person.
Yeah, that's right. So an article in the Tampa Bay Times about how students at the University of Florida, South Florida, perceived the election stirred the same emotion that he felt. That her passion ended when Bernie Sanders lost. I'll probably write in Bernie Sanders or Jill Stein even. She dislikes Clinton's pandering to young black voters, such as herself. Mm-hmm. Racist. Okay. So anyway, Ralph Nader, of course, did he was a spoiler,
right.
As was Ross Perot and Teddy Roosevelt, and gone on. So anyway, like Supertramp, they felt the warm glow of self-expression, rejecting corporate greed. Now, of course, they also elected George Bush over Al Gore, but they throw that one away. That was a big deal. But here's the deal: they have a meme that the corporations are the one. Now, don't get me wrong; they are influencing the laws of this country, but they are not. They're not. They're the men. They're the puppet masters.
They don't cast any more votes than we do.
Right. Exactly. Precisely correct. And you have to buy the particular the guy with the gun. You hire him to go out and do your bidding, and those are the ones, the 543 or whatever people in Congress, plus the 8 justices now. So anyway, here's why he thinks that you really have to vote for Hitlery, and and he says that though the odds against this happening of a third party person messing things up, the stakes have never been higher. Now I tell you, I've been through elections since 1960. Mm-hmm. And the stakes were never higher in every single one. This is the most important vote you will ever cast.
Right.
And of course, as I've said before, and I get Mrs. Jimmy just chastised me totally.
Oh yeah.
For not voting because it confirms that you will accept the outcome no matter what it is for 4 years or whatever, and that you will abide by the won or lost thing, and maybe work harder in 4 years. This is a little bit different from winning or losing a football game. Because these guys are looking to get their hands on the levers and dials of power.
Right.
And so when your guy doesn't do it, so to speak, what are you going to do? I mean, and of course the federal elections typically are very close. Well, not to mention 2000. That was the Gore, 44 votes or something, whatever the hell it was. And it was a total screw up from day one, of course. I don't know why the Supreme Court ever got involved in it.
Yeah, I know.
That was just stupid. Anyway, I mean, what's her name?
Well, like you said, yeah, Kathleen.
She had it under a mandate to stamp it done.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't have to get many extensions. That's what started it all.
Yeah, I know.
She was pilloried. And then, of course, well, there's other things that came out on that. She obviously was her 15 or 20 days of fame, when she would walk out there all made up to the, gills and everything. She was the most important person in the country for a while.
Yeah.
But she acted like it. She really took it to heart. Anyway, so as President Trump would fight trade, expel millions of undocumented immigrants, which he won't, cut taxes for the wealthy, which again, the top 1/10 of 1% of the taxpayers pay 38% of the taxes. So, I mean, how much more do you want? So, and of course, when it is becoming pretty clear, and I don't know why he doesn't admit it. No, I didn't. I'm not going to show you my tax return. I have no legal obligation to do it, but just so you know, if I didn't pay any, so what? I have 10,000 people working for. I pay property taxes. I pay excise taxes. I pay sales taxes. And then also all the people that I have hired that would not be working, 10 or 15,000 people, they're paying taxes, Social Security taxes, payroll taxes, and taxes on everything that they buy. So if you say that I am not a tax generator, you're out of your mind.
Right. Well, that's certainly one solid defense. He has several solid defenses.
Totally solid.
The next one that comes to mind is the whole purpose of having tax loopholes and deductions is so that people can take write-offs.
Right.
And the reason being, obviously, this is a guy who generates a lot of jobs, just like you said. If they took all of his money, he wouldn't be able to maintain all those businesses.
Right.
Okay, so it's really sort of charity to himself. And then there's the argument of taxes. Screw taxes. Why do we even have taxes? You say, interestingly, from my perspective, if they just dropped the tax code completely, the rich would pick up the tab to whatever extent that they felt necessary, and then that would be it. And because the rich are split 50-50, left and right, presumably, half of them could pay for wars and half of them could pay for charity, and then all the poor people, or us, basically, could use the money to reinvest in our own small businesses and such.
Right.
Put it back where it's necessary for us, as opposed to this weird transfer system we have all around all between and amongst the poor people.
Well, for the first 123 years of this country, you got to keep all your money.
Right. Well, at the federal level.
Yeah. I mean, the federal level, and I don't know what they did as far as sales taxes or anything with that kind of stuff.
Well, there's always been little local taxes and municipal taxes and state taxes and things like that for
I
different
suppose.
stuff.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you got to basically keep all your money, and of course, for I don't know, the first 100 years, this country was run on tariffs.
Right. So you paid a little bit because of the tariff.
But the tariffs, of course, were another muddling influence. It was protectionism at its worst.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You paid through the inflation because you couldn't quite get the object for the same amount you would have were there not a tariff. So,
okay, there was no inflation back then, of course, because there was a gold standard.
No, I didn't mean it in the sense of actual inflation. I meant the change in price because there was a border tax.
Right, exactly.
And so you did pay a little. The people paid some tax, but whatever. Like you said, it was a minuscule amount, relatively speaking, to what they collect today. I know I paid 40+% of the money I earned in the last 7 years to taxes.
Yeah.
And just an enormous sum of money, and they took it all.
Well, see, this is one of the reasons why the tax system, in spite of its 7 million words or whatever it is, and such a convoluted spaghetti dish of this is and that's and everything, is when you make money, you pay taxes on that money. So if you happen to, after you've paid taxes, if you lose that, if that thing goes bankrupt that you paid taxes on, the deduction business allows you to, they would be, if they didn't have that, you'd be paying taxes twice on the same things. Because basically, you get a deduction, you get your taxes
Right.
back is what it boils down to.
Right,
Because,
exactly.
because there's no there.
And how can anybody be upset at Donald Trump for using the laws as they're out there?
I saw something and they were...
Here he reads it, something about, oh, he's taking advantage. What do you mean? It's the laws y'all wrote.
Yeah. Well, not only that, there was some judge, a Supreme Court judge in the 30s, I think. I forget who it was, but it said you're under no obligation to maximize your taxes.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So if he's taken what I put on one said he should be ordered to do this, that, or the other, and I said, did you tell me he has done anything illegal?
Right.
And well, no, but it just doesn't seem fair. Well, to you.
Right. Well, that's the other thing I get back to is, taxes are kind of the concept that people would not do the right thing were they not forced to.
Right.
By other people who apparently would do the right thing.
Right.
Because they're the ones who have the force.
Yeah, they've got the guns. So anyway, and he would cut taxes for the wealthy, reduce the independence of the Federal Reserve.
This is another thing. Would, that word would in there is like if he could wave a magic wand, would.
Right. And magic happens.
Right. I mean, this is his wish list of stuff, maybe. Okay, well, what percent, this guy's, in terms of voting, maybe he gets one of those things done, maybe. So what are you really voting for? The possibility of one of those things getting done that you like or whatever. It's just so, from my perspective, your vote doesn't count for much anyway.
It doesn't. Well, again, even the point is that some of his policies I horribly disagree with. I mean, I wouldn't vote for him. There are some killer deals in his stuff.
Right, and that's why, it's like they say, oh, you got to take the good with the bad or whatever. Well, I mean, from my perspective, no, you don't.
No, I have a choice, okay?
Right.
And my choice is to, I've got two bowls of shit there. They both stink, and I'm not going to eat either one of them.
Exactly. And to me, it lends legitimacy to whatever it is they're going to do.
That's the thing, and they have conned you. These people that get up there and say, if you're not a patriot if you don't vote,
right? And you can't complain.
Well, of course, that's exactly when you can complain, as far as I'm concerned. And this is the other thing that was so bad.
You get to complain anyway. I mean, if somebody's coming at you,
I've complained even with the guy I voted for down here in the county. I went down there to try and get some relief on the apartments, and he just said, no, can't do that.
Right.
That's been decided. What? It's not fair. That's shrug.
Right.
I mean,
well, taxes at their core to me is unfair. It makes us inequitable. Some people deserve money to be spent in the way that they want it to be spent, and they deserve to get that money from other people. I mean, that's what the concept of the tax is. Somehow, it's like, and somehow it's accepted into our country. To me, it's just a totally spoiling fruit type of thing. It's one of those. It's a bad apple.
Yeah. So anyway, it wants to withdraw from climate agreements. Most importantly, he would weaken NATO. And of course, NATO is a dinosaur. It was designed.
He ain't gonna weaken NATO. Look, I mean, like you said, it's a dinosaur. Who needs it? Whatever. But all he said was he wants the other people to pay up.
Right.
He wants to make tougher arrangements or hold them to the original arrangements. We pay a huge share of the NATO. It's us. NATO is just us with a couple extra flags thrown around. Really, I mean, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So, are we really going to go to war for all these countries? Estonia, Latvia. I mean, come on, man. But
the Ukraine.
Right, exactly. And
of course, we're getting close because the Russians did their serious finger waving
at our serious stuff.
At our serious stuff, right? Serious being the country,
right?
Which is also serious. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, incite nuclear proliferation, shake up the world order.
Yeah, shake it up.
Like it doesn't need it. I mean, the world order sucks right now.
Well, just what a euphemism, I mean, what come on.
And horrible of horribles, he would appoint conservative judges to the Supreme Court and undermine civil rights. Now, here's the deal.
And undermine civil rights.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. This is, civil rights. So and these horrible conservative justices, I guess they're the people that are not going to look at the law. I mean, a judge,
Right.
whatever it is, they're supposed to have some rationale.
Yeah, they're supposed to have no connection with whoever it is you point.
And so his complaint is there's those horrible, rascally conservative judges. We don't need them. We need the liberal judges.
He's trying to draw a line between someone's vote for Trump and an undermining of civil liberties. And through the course of that line, it goes through an appointed justice who will abandon his principles and then influence the other justices, apparently. And this is all after a court case gets brought on the issue by some third party because somebody's civil rights were violated down below by the police or somebody else. All that has to happen, and then they all have to make a bad ruling.
Well, of course, what's interesting, in a way, you can see that if Trump gets elected, you can see the 4-4 Supreme Court decisions, 4-4. So that the lower court stands.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you can. Why? What do you mean? Like in terms of the
conservative versus, Scalia was the backbreaker, or the one that got the,
He was mostly on the right.
Mostly on the right. Now they've got 4 and 4.
Right.
The ladies are all screaming liberals, and then they've got 4 of guys on the other side that tend to be a little more conservative. But the idea that I can see a lot of cases coming down to 4-4. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, until the next guy gets appointed or whatever.
Well, but he's got to get past the Senate.
Right. Well,
so if I mean,
I think either one of them. Well, they're gonna. That's the other thing is you look back at the track record, and so many justices were appointed because they thought the president thought they were going to be on one side of the law, and they ended up being diametrically opposed.
Think Carswell.
Yeah, the list is long. I mean, it's like 40% of them, just go to the you don't know what they're going to do because they get appointed for life. It's like being anointed king or something. I mean, people change. You think even if you think Hillary Clinton or Trump now, I guarantee you the election will change them.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, somebody once said about the Supreme Court, they read the morning paper too.
Mm-hmm.
So, they know how this stuff is going. So anyway, President Clinton, however, Hillary would push for stronger enforcement of trade treaties. Trade treaties, reform immigration laws, raise the minimum wage, seek equal pay for women, and reduce carbon emissions. Most importantly, she would honor international agreements, fight nuclear proliferation, try to strengthen the world order, name liberal judges to the Supreme Court, and be more, though not perfectly respectful, of constitutional rights. So that's what you got there. So
that's what your vote gets you. All of those things.
Yeah. So anyway, then he goes on to say, this is why Trump, he succeeded in, building hotels and golf courses and popular entertainment and so forth. When he ventured into other endeavors, he failed: casinos, pro football, an airline, and Trump University. And of course you could also bring up 2 marriages or whatever,
Sure.
But the point is that the one thing that he has going for him is when something goes bad, you get rid of it.
Right.
You don't keep it alive just because you've got people working there. It's what a decent manager can do is knows how to fire people.
Well, and that is what we are hoping he turns out to be.
Right.
Is a good manager of administrations, and like you said, we hope that if he gets elected, he gets up there and just starts cutting people's useless jobs left and right because they're not adding productivity to the country. And
if they're subtracting, you would think that in any business, when they grow, why do they grow? Because you have something called economies of scale. Mm-hmm. Government is the opposite. Seriously,
we're losing money, but we'll make it up in volume.
Yeah, exactly. They get larger percentage-wise in what they do, when you think, look, you've got the, this, whatever this bureau is or whatever it is and so forth, but
It's not doing too well, so we're going to make another one.
we're going to make another one, right?
underneath it.
There's somebody said there's like 47 different agencies of food for children or something.
Oh yeah, no. At this point, it is off the rails.
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to do is look at who complains when something happens. It's, Mary so and so said something about dogs. The Bureau for Dogs and the Bureau for Pet Safety and the Committee for Friends at Home, and 72 agencies come out of the walls and say whatever their position is on it. And
Well, that's of course that's the old adage. Of course, these people they are what I call small vocal minorities, and they get hurt because it's just 5 of them maybe, but they're well funded, and they scream their bloody heads off, and they say, and it's only $1 million, which works out to 1/10 of a penny per person.
Right.
And so you're not going to go up on Capitol Hill and testify for 1/10 of a penny.
right.
So that's what they count on. Anyway, stronger and to strengthen the world order. What is this world order of they speaking? I don't have a clue. So anyway, he's failed these things. And
Is it a good thing?
Yeah, right.
Well, obviously he's wheelbarrowed out, both sides, and this.
Well, here's that. Then
he
he says he's never been a city council member, let alone a governor, senator, or cabinet member, and he's 70. No 70-year-old mind masters new skills as easily as at 50 or 60. Well,
What?
Hillary is 69 or something. I mean, they're both.
Oh yeah, but she's been doing it for a while.
That's
all.
true. She has an automatic reaction to things too.
Right, yeah.
Send in the troops.
That's right. Launch the missile. Loose the hounds.
Loose the hounds. Well, I want to see her in the Situation Room where they kill that guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they have a picture of Obama
Right.
involved.
Kill that guy.
Kill that guy. Fire up the drones.
Yeah. Well, is that the end of the article there?
No. Here's the thing. It says third. Let's see on the play. Third, neither Trump nor Clinton will bring refreshing transparency to government. With Trump worse. The man won't even reveal his tax returns. Well, he's under no obligation to.
Well, and how about this? Like, does anybody think that if you were under investigation by any authority, that you would be well advised to volunteer some more information which they could use against you?
And they will.
And they absolutely will.
They absolutely will.
And Hillary's an attorney. Like she knows good damn and well. It's not that they won't let you turn it over. It's that they won't let you out of the audit. And so you don't turn in anything. You don't publish anything or do anything until.
Well, this is like what you talk
over.
about. It's what you talk about in your book. You don't talk to the police.
Exactly.
And so if these guys, you don't have to offer anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I reserve my right to remain silent. You don't even have to. I mean, you just.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You walk in there with duct tape over your mouth. And
Pretty much.
That's what is missing in here. As an added advantage, what I would do personally.
Put some duct tape.
I would
right
put a
in
piece
there.
of duct tape in here.
This is for your face.
This is for your face. If you get stopped, put this on your face.
Exactly. It should come with some duct
That's
tape.
as an added advantage.
Yep, just
Leave
right
it-
on the back, a strip you can just peel right off.
Yeah, and on the back it says, "I want a lawyer."
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. You have boom.
That's it.
I want a lawyer. That would be the pièce de résistance for selling your book, Curtis.
There it is.
Black and Blue Lives Matter: How to Survive and Reform American Criminal Justice.
Yeah. This is the new cover.
Yeah.
You can see Engineer Eric helped me out with that. So it looks a little better now, a little bit more neutral.
Nice picture of you on the back.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
Who is that guy? That's right. Look, it says here you're the third great grandson of the Supreme Court Justice George Sutherland.
That's correct.
So you got law in your bones.
That's right.
Literally. Literally.
Yeah, it's true. So,
Now this is available on Amazon, right?
Yes, it is.
I ordered a couple of these things. The people that really need to see this, of course, because one of the reasons we're digressing off what we were talking here about before, but so that's too bad. The thing is that we've seen the John Oliver thing.
yeah.
I'm gonna find that clip, and because now in the public schools they have a class on how to deal with the police.
As well they should.
As well they should. And the first rule is you don't talk to them.
Pretty much.
I mean, she goes on this little 15 or 20 second clip, but can you imagine it is now when I was growing up, Officer Friendly showed up, okay? Nice guy, we're here to protect you, blah, blah, blah.
Right. If the officer asks you for stuff, you help him out.
Exactly. No question about it. He's on your side. Now, they have a class.
Right.
Can you imagine? They have a class on if you're stopped, you're guilty. You are perceived as being guilty for being stopped. That's number one right off the bat. And of course, you don't say anything. The worst thing you can say is when he says, "Do you know why I stopped you?" And you give an explanation.
Yeah.
Duh, you idiot.
Is it all this cocaine that I'm hauling in the back? Wait, let me guess. Yeah,
So-
no, you don't volunteer information. You do have to give your name if they're in the lawful course of investigation in Florida.
Right.
But there's lots of good information in the book here, and I'll do a little presentation about it when
When you do a little presentation.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm done with that stuff right
Well,
now.
the one thing I want to say
Oh.
about the voting thing before we go
Yeah, okay.
is here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I've decided what I'm going to do for voting this time around. I think I'm going to go to the voting booth and vote for amendments and other stuff that I believe in, laws that I think should pass, citizen referendums and things like that, but not vote for chief executive at all. And the reason being that will show up in the statistics. That is to say, if a bunch of people did that, they would realize people are voting for their beliefs, not for the chiefs,
Right.
basically.
Well, we have two or three local things here on our ballot,
Right.
and
Well, I don't even know what they all are.
well, we have one that's a mill for education.
Yeah, I saw a sign
And
for
then
that.
I think a half a mill for public parks and
Heck
recreation.
no on both of those
Yeah, no,
things.
no.
As far as I'm concerned, if you want to fund a public park or education, take some of your money and go fund it. Okay? Don't try to take our money to fund your stuff. You don't know what the unseen thing is that we would have done with our money should you take it. We could be working on
Well,
something
it's funny.
revolutionary here.
They're always talking about, one of these things is that when they did this one time before, they said it's a penny for education. Well, I sent them the penny. I said,
Right. Here's my penny.
Yeah, but of course, when you realize that when that adds up, it adds up to millions of dollars, of course,
Right.
because you have to pay that penny 100, 200, 300 times during the year.
Right.
So anyway, they do have some quote private parks around here. They have
Sure, of course.
and
if there weren't so many public parks, there would be more private
Right,
parks.
Civitan, I think, and Kiwanis, I think, has one over here that they're sponsoring, and but that stuff gets done. I know the Rotary Club does a lot of that stuff.
Sure, and again, to the extent that people want them out there, all you people who want to fund the parks, you guys are the demand for the parks. Okay, when I go to Devil's Mill Hopper, I pay my $2 and then I go in the park.
Okay.
Now I don't know. I think it's still a state park, so I don't know what they do with my $2. But that's what I do, and it pays. I guarantee you, if somebody bought that property, they could do the same thing. They
Right.
could charge a certain amount,
Right.
and however much, I'd pay $5 to go in there and do my stuff. And so that's the kind of stuff that you would do. You would have, and they would be more popular because we're not already funding them through taxation.
Right, and
So-
that's the way. Of course, that's the way I feel about a lot of the springs too. They
Sure, everything. It comes down to everything. Resources should be allocated based on the demand that is in society. And all you have to do to know what that demand is sell off all the resources. And literally the price will set itself.
Yep.
And so then those people control those resources. And if you're worried that somebody's going to just pour oil in the spring after they buy it,
Yeah.
well, think about it. Who are they? They're probably somebody like you, but with more money. and they want to preserve the thing even more than you do.
Right.
And they're more effective at it.
Yeah.
And so let them do
They're
it.
going to do something called maintaining.
That's right.
And that's what they don't do. The state doesn't maintain anything, basically.
No, the state is horrible polluters. If you look around,
Yeah.
you know, they're the worst polluters ever. Although I think somebody just said Monsanto, or somebody just took over for them or something. But either way, the state, as we know, traditionally horrible polluters because they don't own it. That is to say, even if there's somebody in charge and in control, some park ranger, he's not going to leave it to anybody. Yeah. So guess what? When he dies, it's over. So he only has to protect the park until he dies. Okay, versus if you sold it to a bunch of Indians or something, they know they're going to pass it on to their kids. They're damn sure going to protect it and make sure that the farming is sustainable and do whatever else is necessary that you think you want done with all the park property. So,
well, this is well known. It's called the tragedy of the commons.
Right.
And that is when everybody owns it, nobody owns it.
Exactly.
And everybody, you know, this is the...
And then everybody goes to whoever controls it and buys their share.
Right.
And that's why you get logging, clear-cut logging out in our national forests and stuff, because those people aren't coming back, and they know it. They just bought the trees.
Yeah.
They didn't buy the land.
Yeah.
They just leased a piece of it. And you know, what they did is they ripped you off.
Yeah, no, I mean, the way they always talk about it is if you've got this giant grazing field surrounded by sheep farms,
Mm-hmm.
and it's commonly owned by everybody, you know, in the world, you know, the farmer, the sheep farmer, is going to take as much as he can. I mean,
Right.
He's not going to preserve anything. You know, going to get it while he can, to the detriment of the other guys. Well, if somebody actually owns it, and that's what happens with the Department of Interior or something, or the Bureau of Land Management. Jesus Christ, those people should be in jail.
Well, finish your sentence. If somebody actually owns it,
Then they get to charge.
Uh-huh.
And they get to make some. In fact, it does work that way. I had a piece of property down here, 40 acres, and I had a peanut allotment, which also is stupid, but I had a peanut allotment, and a guy came and rented and bought the peanut allotment for 1 year. And each year he would re-up the peanut allotment, because you're only allowed to grow so many peanuts. It's a big deal here in the South.
Right.
So anyway, but basically it cost him money to get that, and if it wasn't worth it, he wouldn't take my peanut allotment.
Right.
So, I mean, I was in competition with 50 other people with their peanut allotments.
Right.
So it was good. Okay.
Well, yeah, and there is, of course, a natural peanut allotment. You know, if it wasn't done by the government, it's done by the concept of how much peanuts the land can support and that kind of stuff.
Well, not only that, it's still legal, believe it or not, in spite of Wickard v. Filburn. It's still legal to grow your own peanuts on your own land. Now, I don't know how they could probably get away with making that illegal,
Right.
but they have to find you first. The nice thing about peanuts is they grow underground.
Oh, okay. So you don't see them.
They're hidden.
Okay.